Good morning, Senator Swatowski.
Gail, thank you for having me. I'm honored to be here, and it's great to talk about the Constitution, which kind of sets up the framework for how we operate in the legislature and in our country. So great subject and great to be here.
Does Michigan have a Constitution?
Yes, it does, and it's quite similar to the federal Constitution, but there's some important differences. The Second Amendment is actually a little stronger in the Michigan Constitution.
Now, the Second Amendment is the right to bear arms?
Yeah, the right to bear arms, and in the federal, they've argued for a couple hundred years about what that actually means, whether you have the right to carry, but it's pretty explicit in Michigan's Constitution. But the Michigan Constitution lays out how Michigan's state government will operate.
Welcome to again another very historic day in Macomb County.
Interestingly, locally, Macomb County has just decided that it wants a charter, which is kind of like a constitution for the county. And we've had a group draw up the charter, and that'll go in front of the voters to see if they want to have a new constitution for county government.
So the Constitution basically runs from top to bottom. There's the federal government constitution, state government constitution, and now at local level, especially in Macomb County, it looks like we're going to have a local charter, which is the constitution essentially of Macomb County. Is that right? It seems like all the constitutions sort of deal with a tension or balance between individual rights, such as those contained in the Bill of Rights, and what's important for the greater good. In your role as a legislature, I assume that in your day-to-day activities you grapple with that.
It is a very difficult balancing act, and you know, the individual rights come in some really kind of controversial issues. I mentioned smoking earlier. Helmet laws for motorcycle riders, you know, seat belt laws, and graduated driver's license for new drivers, or number of passengers in their car.
So what I'm hearing from you is that the legislature or the government, all branches, are responsive to things that are actually contemporaneous, that are going on in the world, in society as we speak. Senator, I wanted you to explain, if you would, to our students the role of the executive branch in government.
Okay. The executive kind of runs all the departments. They're the administration, they're called, because they administer the laws. The executive cannot pass legislation themselves. That's the legislative branch. They can suggest legislation. They can't introduce legislation. They have to convince a senator or a House member to introduce their bill.
The governor has to sign off on the law, is that right?
Yeah. It's got to pass both chambers in exactly the same form. That's a hurdle. I mean, thousands of bills are introduced every year, and only a couple hundred pass. So the executive, think of them as the department heads in the state. The head of the health department, the head of the state police, the head of the library. All the different departments in state government, those are the executive. But so the top executive is the governor. So
they enforce the laws that are made and create the structure to enforce the laws, the different regulations and that type of thing. Is that how it works?
Right.
And what's the role of the judge or the judiciary in all this?
The function of the court is to say, remember we talked about our subject, the Constitution, and it's the rules. Well, sometimes legislators like myself can come up with a great idea, some new law, but it breaks the rules, you know, and we might even get it passed. We might even get the governor to sign it into law. But any one citizen out there can say, wait a minute, you know what, that's wrong. I am taking you to court, and you can sue. And we've had huge cases in the state of Michigan. Say we pass a law and it results in schools having to do a bunch more work, and we don't give them the money to do it. Schools or local government, these are mandates where we say you have to do this. Well, the Michigan Constitution says that if I make you do something, I better pay for it. And if I don't do that, it violates the Constitution.
Senator Swiltowski, thank you so much for being here this morning with us. I've learned some things I didn't know about government, and I hope our students who are the audience of this program have learned some information, and your experience in government has been invaluable to us, so thank you so much.